We've got some really, really interesting Datacrons coming out of this brand new set that was just released yesterday. I'm here to tell you which ones that I'm personally going to be going for, and some that I think you should be getting too. Let's do this. If we head over to the Datacron store currently in-game, you will see that the Escalating Conflict Datacron set is now officially in the game. Now, we won't really properly be able to farm these until Conquest goes live on Monday. Stay tuned for that. I will be kicking out videos on how to best prepare and how to get your feats done. It doesn't look terrible. So, we can't farm these properly yet, but you can buy one at the moment with your Shard Shop currency. It is a little bit pricey at just under 4,000 Shard Shop currency because I constantly spend this on gear. So, what are we actually going to look at today? Well, I'm going to take a look at some of the Datacron sets that I think are pretty damn awesome, and I'm going to make recommendations to you. You are going to do the utmost to let me know in the comment section below how wrong I am and which ones that you would prefer. It's a wonderful life being a content creator, I can tell you that, tribe. Okay, now instead of looking from the bottom up, we're going to start from the top down. I'm going to look at the level 9s and I'm going to tell you which ones I think are flipping awesome. Okay, flipping awesome. Here we go. First and foremost, I'm actually going to go with a little bit of a different one, and that is Amilyn Holdo. Holdo is basically the red-headed stepchild or purple-headed stepchild of the Resistance faction right now. She has supplanted Rose's Taco as the unloved Resistance member. She just doesn't really offer that much, but this Datacron is actually pretty nuts. So let's break this down. What have we got first and foremost? 100% additional max health and max protection. Not just max health, but protection as well. At the start of the encounter, she's going to pass all Resistance allies and Ben Solo, because he does not have the Resistance tag, Foresight for one turn. That's fabulous. If you think about teams like Starkiller that quite often get used to counter Rey, they rely on landing debuffs and generating turn meter, okay? So having Foresight at the start means that, yes, sure, Mara Jade could try and do her stun and dispel, but she's going to miss a lot of people. She could try and ignore the stun and dispel to get the tenacity down, but then she'll have to throw the grenade, and that will miss everybody as well. Quite interesting conundrum that they're in there. And if you know Holdo's kit, as soon as an ally loses Foresight, she's going to taunt. So what else happens? Whenever Amilyn Holdo loses taunt, all other Resistance allies and Ben Solo gain Foresight. So they have taunt. They've got Foresight across the board. It loses. She taunts. You dispel it. She passes Foresight to the whole team again. You can't hit them. You can't hit them, and if you try and miss the Foresight, you go right back over to Holdo again. Sounds very frustrating, but we're still not done. Whenever a Resistance ally or Ben Solo loses Foresight, she gains 100% bonus protection stacking, which is based off her max health, which she's getting 100% of, for one turn. When she has Taunt, all Resistance allies and Ben Solo have got 100% critical avoidance and defense penetration and 100 speed. That is just nuts. She's basically turned herself into a pre-taunting tank in this instance because she's passing that Foresight. As soon as an enemy takes a turn, boom, Foresight is gone, she taunts, right? That's just pretty nasty. It's pretty nasty. You get rid of that taunt, everybody gains Foresight again, so you can't land your next hit. That's really annoying. You get rid of the Foresight, boom, she taunts again. Nobody on the team can be critically hit, which means you can't get rid of stuff like Inspiration from the team, allowing Rey to stack a bunch of Mastery. You're not going to be able to outpace them because the whole team's got 100 additional speed. All of a sudden, even Rey is getting 100 additional speed. This is nutty. Absolutely nutty. The level 6, though, is where this gets really freaking nutty. This very first one. Hold with me here. Resistance allies have got 100% extra tenacity. That's great. You know, extra tenacity means, you know, you're not going to be resisting, you're going to be resisting all those debuffs all the time. For Tagulus, it'll help with stuff like EP Mara Jade. Yes, I know there's tenacity down, guys. There's still stuff that you can resist, and you can cleanse tenacity down. Especially if they're not landing those hits. That means they're not generating loads of TM on that Sith team. Starkiller is dead with this Holdo counter. I'm telling you right now. But this second part is really juicy. Resistance allies can't be defeated until each of them has fallen below 100% health once. That's just so good. That is so good. JMK Cat, can't yeet. Nope. You cannot insta-kill anybody, not with Cat's yeet. Nope, they've got to fall below 100% health first. You better hit their health before you do that, and good luck doing that. So Cat is almost entirely useless against this team, and then anything else that wants to try and kill, you have to take, if I'm reading this correctly, you have to take them all below 100% health once before you can kill anyone. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the mechanics here, but resistance allies can't be defeated until each of them has fallen below 100% health once. Does that mean everybody on the team needs to lose all of their protection and some of their health before anybody can die? Or is it individual units need to drop below 100% health? I'm not entirely sure on that, but even if that's not the case, that is still really freaking cool. It basically gives you instant kill immunity until you've lost some of your health, at the very least. That's going to make this so annoying. Like, Jabba can't eat anybody either. He can't eat anyone with his rancor until after they've... It's just, like, it turns this into an absolute... Don't even bother looking at the rest of these resistance mechanics, at least not for a Rey team, because that's the one. You get that one. Okay, so let's take a look at the level 3s. Now, this one is quite interesting. If we think about pairing that level 3, giving us 100% additional tenacity, I like to think that this one over here, where is it? When light side allies resist a debuff, they're going to recover 2% health and protection. It's not a lot, but the fact that you've got 100% additional tenacity, it means you should be resisting quite a lot of debuffs, which is going to be really useful. Just keeping your health topped up. Remember, you can't actually die until everybody in the team has lost all of their protection and has taken some max health damage. That's quite useful at a bit of sustain. It's probably not the best one. The best one, I think, is probably going to be the first time each light side ally is defeated, the remaining light side allies gain 15% offense and 20 speed for the rest of the encounter. That's going to be powering up your Rey. Obviously, you can't kill Rey until you've killed Ben Solo, so at the very least, you'll have to kill Ben Solo first, which is going to give Rey an extra 15% offense and 20 speed. That really is quite nice, truth be told. It's quite nice, especially if you can't get round to Rey all the time, and if Holdo's always tanking, it's going to take a little bit of time to get to her. That's just going to give Rey more and more time to build up mastery, and eventually wipe the entire board. So before we move on from Holdo, we do want to look at the stats themselves. Where are they? Stats down here. This stat pool is actually really, really cool. We've got health percentile, protection percentile, and health steal. 3 really, really solid stats. The offense percentage is okay, but in my experience, it doesn't bring enough to the table. I remember I had a Qui-Gon Jinn set a while back, which had like 60% additional offense on it, allowing people like Jedi Knight Anakin to just blow up the entire field, but it didn't feel like it brought enough to the table. So for a set like this with Holdo, I'd highly recommend having a massive health pool, lots and lots of max health, and probably a little bit of health steal to keep people topped up. We all know how annoying Rey is with health steal, so throw that in. Rey and Holdo and additional max health and additional health steal. All of a sudden that team becomes incredibly annoying to deal with. Before we moving on, again, what is surprising is we do have a Rey Datacron coming back. We haven't had a GL Datacron in quite some time. And honestly, it's a decent Datacron, but I think Holdo is better. Even under a Rey team, I think we'll see something like Rey with Ben, throwing in Holdo, JTR, and then something else. It might be Barriss Offee, for example, just to try and keep the whole team up and running the whole time. It will be an incredibly annoying team to deal with. Maybe you, instead of Barriss Offee, you might throw in someone like Sortie so that she can hide Ben, making things even more irritating to deal with. So this one here for Rey is the first time Rey is defeated, they revive with 100% health, gain protection over time 75% for 2 turns, and take a bonus turn. In theory, this sounds very good. My only concern with it is that a lot of people that are countering Rey right now use a form of permanent kills, so that even if you kill Rey, she's not going to revive. If this revive couldn't be prevented, all of a sudden I would have a better time dealing with it, but even then, I think that it's better to have Holdo as the level 9. If you think about the usual counters for Rey, you've got Starkiller. Personally, I think with Amilyn Holdo passing Foresight all the time, meaning you're always going to be missing your attacks, missing your shocks, not being able to get rid of the inspiration across the Rey team, I don't think Starkiller deals with this very well with a Holdo team. So that counter is already gone. If you look at a counter like the Sia Malicos team that a lot of people use, and is personally my favourite current counter to Rey, that one there already has baked in permanent death through Malicos. Whenever he kills anybody, they are permanently dead. Applies to the rest of the team as well. So that immediately invalidates this particular thing. Failing that, in this set as well, we've got Jedi. Jedi, when they kill a unit, when they level 6s, is to prevent revives. So I don't actually think that the Rey one is all that great, to be honest with you. I don't think it is. So I'm actually honestly recommending a skip on the Rey crew. Coming up next is the one that I think looks absolutely incredible. Darth Sidious is turning into a solo monster with this new set. It looks awesome. It's like Wampa is going to get moved to one side because Sidious is just going to show him how it's done. Check this out. When there are no other active allies at the start of the battle, so has to be solo, Darth Sidious gains 200% defense, health steal, max health, max protection. 200%. You just, all of a sudden, right out the gate, okay, his stats are basically tripled. 100% counter chance and critical chance, 100 speed. So he's getting faster. He counterattacks every single hit. He will basically crit because he's got an additional 100%, not 100% crit chance, an additional 100% crit chance. And he's incredibly tanky because you've essentially tripled his max health, max protection, and doubled up his defense. Crazy business. He's also immune to daze and to stun. At the start of his turn, he dispels all the debuffs on himself and he resets all of his cooldowns as well. Whenever he uses a basic ability, he's going to inflict a damage over time for one turn which can't be resisted, and whenever he uses a special, he dispels all buffs on all enemies. Now, I don't know if that happens before the damage or after, so will he use his special and it will dispel foresight and land hits, or will he try to land the hit and then dispel? That's going to be a key decision maker there. But essentially, that basic, don't forget, 100% counter chance. So someone hits him, he's hitting back, they're getting a dot. I know you're thinking, oh, dots aren't all that great, but just you wait. Whenever an enemy has got at least 5 dots at the start of their turn, they instantly get defeated. They just die. They give up, they die of sadness. They take after Padme. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's just nuts. That's just nuts. Especially when you look at his special ability. His AoE on his special ability actually does AoE damage. If it crits, it puts, I believe, 2 dots or 3 dots on the enemy team. So it's like, and you can use that all the time, constantly off cooldown. Just woomph, 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 and you will land dots. And then the enemy takes a turn like, oh, I've got 6 dots, and they die. It's just nuts. It's just nuts. Enemies also cannot assist or attack again if he's targeted. So that means people like Ezra, for example, can't do that extra attack, you know? People like Jedi Knight Revan, can't call a mass assist on them because it just doesn't work. It means that JML can't use inherited teachings on him. It's just, well, I don't know if the damage will still come through, but you can't call the assist. So it's just kind of nutty. All right, what else have we got? Whenever an enemy is defeated, he also just casually recovers all of his health and protection. It's just insane. Sidious is going to be monstrous. I cannot wait to get this because he's basically useless otherwise. Basically useless. So let's think, how would we pair that with a level 6 for the Sith? At the start of their turn, Sith allies can ignore Taunt to target a debuffed enemy. Whenever a Sith ally inflicts a debuff on an enemy, they also deal 5% max health damage, which can't be evaded. This damage cannot defeat enemies. Already, this is pretty good. The fact that we don't have a means of putting out debuffs before our first turn. I mean, potentially we could, you know, if somebody does an attack and we counter-attack and they get that dot, potentially we could avoid any non-pre-taunting tank, I guess. But the fact that we can deal additional 5% max health damage to the enemy as we're doing this is pretty nice. Whenever enemies are damaged at the start of their turn, Sith allies gain 2% turn meter. This is actually pretty cool. Don't forget, we're going to be spreading AoE dots all the time. So gaining a little bit of turn meter to help us get another turn all the quicker is actually pretty good, and probably the one that I'm going to actually be putting on my Sidious. Whenever Sith allies damage an enemy, all enemies with an ability, they grant tenacity up for 2 turns to all allies. It's okay, but honestly, you're going to be dispelling debuffs and stuff like that. You've got immunities to stuns and daze. I don't think tenacity really offers him a heck of a lot. At the end of their turn, Sith allies recover 50% protection if they inflicted at least 5 debuffs that turn. Now that can happen because Sidious can use his AoE constantly. AoE against 5 people, he will be probably putting out quite a bit of buffs if you mod him for a bunch of potency. So 50% protection recovery is going to make him really hard to put down. Or, whenever a Sith ally deals damage to an enemy and no other enemy is marked, inflicts marked for 1 turn on the target enemy, which can't be resisted or evaded. That one is also very, very nice. It'll also play into counterattacks, I believe. Well, I'm not sure if counterattacks are forced to go for a marked character, but it's okay. Honestly, I think maybe the Turn Meter Generation one is going to be pretty good. Maybe this first one, maybe the last one, maybe the Protection Recovery. There's a lot of flexibility, I think, with this Cron. The level 3 mechanics are not phenomenal, I don't think, for Sidious. I think there's some stuff. There's obviously, like, the losing a Sith ally gives you additional stats isn't going to come into play because it's a solo character. Maybe buffs dispelled at the end of the turn, they gain potency up and tenacity up. It's kind of like, yeah, just means you'll always have potency up and tenacity up. Maybe the evasion one, because we do currently have dodge in the meta. I'm not sure if Sidious is actually a special attacker, so potentially getting additional stats there, gaining additional accuracy, gaining evasion down on the enemy team could be quite useful. Other than that, potentially you could have dark side allies resisting a debuff, recovering 2% health and protection, or starting the battle with some protection up. That could be quite useful. When it comes to stats then, honestly, I think you're most likely going to want to go for any sort of bulk here. You'll want to have stuff like health or protection or health steal. To keep him alive, you don't necessarily need offense because you will slowly kill the enemy team with dots. When they hit 5 dots, they're going to dispel. What I'd recommend is that you go in, and if you want to get this Cron, you remod your Sidious to be as fast as possible with as much potency as possible, because you want to be landing those dots on the AoE. Anything else goes into crit chance, I imagine. Maybe a bit of survivability to really keep him going. Otherwise, this is just such a cool Datacron. Next up on our list then is going to be Kelleran Beck. Kelleran Beck is incredible anyway, right? And then they give him this absolute monster of a level 9. It's absolutely insane. So, Kelleran Beck has got 100,000 additional max protection. That's a lot. With his unique, he transfers every 10,000 max protection into Padawan's lessons, which increases the damage output of the team by increasing, I think it's their defense penetration and their offense, or something like that. We'll check it in a minute. Whenever Kelleran Beck uses a basic ability, he deals additional true damage equal to 5% of his max protection, which can't be evaded. An extra 5%, max protection, true damage can't be mitigated in any way. It's not too bad, to be honest. So for every 100,000, you're dealing, 5,000 damage? So if you get him to like 200,000, you're going to be doing an extra 10k damage on a basic. It's not much, but it's something, and he quite often attacks multiple times on his basic, doesn't he? So that's going to be, all of a sudden, an extra 30k damage, nothing to sniff at. It goes on to say then, if there are no Galactic Legend allies, at the start of his turn, all Galactic Republic Jedi gain 10 stacks to a maximum of 100 of Padawan lessons. This is a means of passing Padawan's lessons to the entire team, even when he is not the lead, for one, which is really, really cool. And that means you can actually stack this constantly throughout battle, dealing more and more damage. So Padawan's lessons over here. For each stack of Padawan's lessons, you gain 20 defense penetration and 5 additional offense. That is pretty nuts. If you are getting 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 Padawan's lessons, that is a boatload of additional offense. We are talking crazy, crazy high numbers. Check this out. Already, we can see people on YouTube have gotten a level 9 Kelleran Beck Cron, and he's just casually going up against a toxic Leia team here. Look, we've started with 41 stacks of that Padawan lessons, and every single time that Beck is taking a turn, he is going to be passing an additional 10, which as we know is 50% extra offense and 200% defense penetration, so we can ignore a bunch of armor. And we can see that Anakin just practically one-shot that Drogon there, real easy. You can even throw in people like Mace Windu. This Leia has got a protection up Cron and is absolutely melting. She's just triggered her second wind there, I think. AoE coming out of Anakin. Don't forget that Raid Han over there still has got guard, so we can't actually crit him. And hold up. Let's go back just a minute there. How much damage was that from Khan? That was a basic, non-crit, for 195,000 points of damage. Nice. Alright, so let's Let's see how this goes. We've even got Barriss Offee over there keeping the team alive. Here we go. Basic 51k true damage there. Not too shabby. 260,000 basic from Anakin. 260,000 basic. This is just nuts. This hasn't got Omicrons or anything like that, guys. This is just the Kelleran Beck DC. It's going in with relatively low tier. How much was that hit on R2? I missed that then. How much was that damage? 252,000. Not a crit. That isn't a crit, and we got 252,000. This Kelleran Beck Datacron, delicious. It gets even better though. If we go ahead and check out the faction, the Jedi faction level 6s over here, check this out. Whilst Jedi allies have 100% health, they've got 100% extra offense. Otherwise, they've got 100% extra defense. At the start of their turn, if they are buffed, they gain advantage for 1 turn. Otherwise, they gain tenacity up for 2 turns, which means next turn they're going to gain advantage, which means they're definitely going to crit. Like, Kelleran Beck, if he's in the leadership, he can't lose health until all of his he can't be killed until all of his allies have been killed. Otherwise, he can't lose any health until his protection is all gone, which means nobody can, and it stops it. If you've got an overflow, it won't hurt his health. So it's like he's almost always going to have 100% extra offense on top of the crazy amount of extra offense he's going to be getting from his Padawan lessons. So the alignment level 3 on the light side then, what sort of thing are we looking for here? You could look for the light side inflicting evasion down and gaining accuracy up just in case, or you could look at the light side allies gaining additional offense and speed whenever their allies die. That's going to make it a real pain on defense. Or you could look at whenever they have their buffs dispelled, they gain potency up and tenacity up, which will feed into their additional level 6 there to provide them even more damage output. Or you could start up with protection up. Honestly, I'm probably thinking the losing allies stacking your offense and speed is probably for the best, because if you're using a Kelleran Beck lead, he has to die last, doesn't he? So if you are having to kill the entire team before going after Kelleran Beck, it does make things a little bit scary for that Kelleran Beck right at the end, especially with all those Padawan's lessons. Now, when we're looking at what stats do we want to be gaining for this team, it's a bit of a no-brainer. We just go maximum protection here. Maximum protection. If you can get every roll on that secondary stat to be protection, you can get something stupid like an additional 120% protection, which will apply before the calculation for your Padawan lessons, which means he's gaining 100,000 from the level 9, and he's also gaining an additional, maybe potentially 100% protection. That will apply before that 100,000 comes into play, but still, if you've got your base Kelleran Beck at like 120,000, and then you're adding an additional 100%, he's 220,000, then you add 100,000, 320,000, you're going to start with 32 stacks of Padawan's lessons. To put that into context, that's what? 160% offense and far too much armor penetration. It's crazy talk, guys. So we'll do some honorable mentions here as well. Darth Bane mechanics. Okay, so Darth Bane is already insane. I don't know if CG are going to nerf Darth Bane. I don't know at all. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. They don't tend to, but it could happen. He doesn't need a Datacron, let's be honest. But this Datacron does give him a few nice little toys to play with. So at the start of his turn, all enemies gain accuracy up, advantage and health steal up for 1 turn, or until they receive damage, and you summon a Sith Trooper in the allied slot. Now this is okay if you read the mechanics for how his Rule of 2 comes into play. That Sith ally is not going to invalidate his Rule of 2 unique. It won't, because it does not include summons in that list, so it doesn't matter. You should still get all of the benefits from Rule of 2, even if you have a summoned ally on the field. The fact that we're giving the enemy buffs is actually a good thing, because when we go to use our first special, we dispel all the buffs on the enemy team and we do extra damage. It's 10% per buff dispelled, which means we're doing an extra 30% damage on our first big hit, which is great. More damage is more good stuff and things, I think. The fact that we're getting a Sith Trooper as well means that there's an extra enemy an extra ally to sacrifice himself so that we can gain more stats. And if they scale their relic level based on your Bane's relic level, it means you've automatically already got an extra potentially relegate Sith guy to give you additional mastery. It's going to be huge. And we're not even done yet. Darth Bane also gains a stack of Siphon whenever he's critically hit. So the fact that we've given them advantage means they're going to critically hit, which means we're going to gain extra Siphon, which means we're going to ramp additional offense. Whenever Darth Bane uses Essence of Dominance, you also siphon crit damage. So we're gaining more Siphon, and we're also siphoning crit damage, increasing our crit damage. Wow. Oh, and by the way, deceived enemies deal 25% less damage to Darth Bane. So this last sentence here is specifically for when you use Bane with C. Okay, that's the only way you're going to get deceived on that team, right? C is the only person that passes that debuff. So nobody's going to use this because who would use Bane with C? It's not like he's a C lifter. You're just going to throw him out there with your trash tier Sith Assassin or Dooku or Darth Maul or whatever and just gain a bunch of fun stuff and start ripping face against GLs. Interesting times, interesting times. Let's take a look at the level 6s. What would we throw in with Bane then? For the level 6 faction, I would probably go for the Taunt Ignoring on the debuffs. None of these are super useful. Overall, it could go anyway. It doesn't matter. Whenever Sith allies damage all enemies with an ability, gain Tenacity up. Maybe that would be useful because we do have an AoE or gain Tenacity up, I guess. It's okay. It's okay. Honestly, the level 6s are not that important, I feel, for this particular character. Now, the level 3s is just a way for us to ramp more offense. Probably the first time each dark side enemy is defeated, we're going to gain an additional 15% offense and 20 speed. Who's going to say no to more stats on Bane? It's just going to make him even more obnoxious to deal with. I can't really see us wanting to have the whole, accuracy up and evasion down mechanic here. I can't imagine we want to be gaining potency up and tenacity up either. I don't really see the much value there, nor the recovery. So I imagine getting this level 3 and getting the level 9 on Bane is probably all you need. And that's going to about do it for my Datacrons. Those are the ones that I'm going to be focusing on. Not that the other ones are not good, it's just I feel like those are going to be the fun, juicy ones to enjoy. Let me know in the comment section down below what things are you going to be farming for this set. The only thing I really want to get as well on top of this is going to be any Cron with just max protection that I can throw on JML to watch his inherited teachings or whatever it is go ahead and do like 130,000 damage. Let me know what you're going to use, and before we disappear, make sure you like and subscribe, and a massive shout out to my wonderful patrons. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Peace out, guys, and may the Force be with you.